Green wants us to push the levers of power. It'll take decades to prove to his satisfaction that they're not connected to anything.
The Problem of the Hero is directed by Shaun Dozier. This is actually his feature film debut. A movie based on true events about what happens when two great minds clash over controversial topics that continue being discussed 80 years later. In 1941, two 20th century literary giants, Richard Wright and Paul Green, collaborate to adapt Wright's best-selling book, Native Son, into a Broadway play. Days from opening night, they differ over a single page of the script. The argument evolves into a spirited contention over issues of race, social justice, and politics, threatening to dissolve their friendship. To me, one of the most interesting aspects of the film is the way it develops some sort of behind the scenes of the real behind the scenes of the actual play. I mean, it's just like a double layer of meaning that turns it into something more than just a regular biopic. Being the period piece that it is, even though it tackles universal issues that current society is still working on, it does a solid work capturing the spirit of the era both visually and intellectually. To that end, production values are subtle but greatly effective. Wright and Green's interactions are the core of the film. They provide a detailed picture of the discordant ideologies of that era. Both characters' points of view are absolutely valid and provide the audience plenty to reflect on. That being said, I felt that after a while some of Wright and Green's scenes overextend to a point where the audience may get a bit saturated. They lack a little dynamism in order to keep 100% of the public's attention. I got the feeling that, from time to time, the arguments get stuck in some sort of endless loop. You can tell they shot most of the movie in an actual theater, and they made the best out of this location, shooting in different spaces and from different angles to reflect this behind-the-scenes vibe that oozes from the story. And this is probably a really small detail, but being a big fan of Orson Welles, I didn't dig that much his characterization. It felt really flat, almost cartoonish. The Problem of the Hero is an interesting journey through a minimal story that most people may not know much about, but does a solid work shining a light over two figures whose ideas about white privilege, racism, and American history are still relevant. So I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. Thank you guys as always for watching. If you happen to see The Problem of the Hero, please feel free to return to this review and just drop a comment below. I will continue doing both English and Spanish reviews on my channel, so if you would like to subscribe, that would actually be awesome. And hopefully, I'll see you next time.